Okay, bam. Can we talk a little bit? Why does God calm the sea twice? Why is the same situation happening again in the Bible? First time in Matthew, and I could be wrong, it probably happened more than twice, but I'm just saying from my recollection, from what I'm reading, it happened with the disciples on the boat in Matthew, and then it happened again when Jesus had to calm the sea again in Mark 4, right? And I'm reading and I'm thinking to myself, the first time God rebuked the wind. He rebuked the wind the first time. The second time, as we go into Mark 4, he tells the wind, peace be still. Both times he asks the disciples, why do you fear? O ye of little faith, you don't have no faith. Can we dig a little bit? Maybe I'm going down the rabbit hole, but just bear with me. First of all, Jesus, it's your second time falling asleep on the boat. I'm going to need you not to be so sleepy. Okay? I'm going to need you not to be so sleepy. Second of all, why is it that both times we get on this boat, we have some type of demonic interference? And you're all knowing. So you already knew before we got on the boat what was going to happen when we get on the boat. You already knew I was going to be scared. You already knew these waves was going to get to crash in the boat, and you already knew the wind was going to look chaotic. You already knew the skies was going to get gray. You already knew what was going to happen before it happened. And because you're all knowing, right? And because there's nothing that you don't know, there's nothing that can ever possibly take you by surprise or shock you, I believe that you have so many different instances in the way that a thing can go, right? That you know it's going to be one of them. And then every instant or decision that's available for us to make, right? You have the next step for all of the different decisions, for all of the different instances. That's just what I believe, right? So either we cannot fear and say, God is asleep on the boat, I'm going to take a nap too. God ain't worried about it, I'm not going to worry about it neither. Or we can go into fear, looking at these storms, looking at the things around us, and not paying attention to what's within us, because within the boat was Jesus. We was within the boat with Jesus. Oh my God, hear me on today. Irregardless of how it looked around, we're in the boat with Jesus. Irregardless of your circumstances, your situations, what you may be facing, God is in the boat with you. That's for another time. But I want to get to the first time, God, you rebuke the winds. And in order to rebuke something, rebuke is like a disapproval. Like you don't approve of what the wind was doing. Like, who told you to do that? Who told you to act out of class? Come on, think about disciplining your child. I rebuke that behavior. Where you get that from? Because I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't teach you that. Who told you to do that? So that lets me know that the storm had to be demonic. The storm had to be demonic. If the wind and the water and everything in creation obeys you, but you did not give the instruction or the word, who gave it? The wind ain't got a mind of his own. Who gave it? Yeah. And if the enemy gave it, you rebuked it the first time. The second time, you already, listen, you told the wind, you already know what's up. Peace be still. Peace be still. And can I just say, both times you asked your disciples, why were you fearful? Why did you ever doubt? Like, why were you so fearful? What you were scared for? Huh? What you were scared for? Had they not learned from before? And I'm not too sure if they were different disciples. I think these are the same disciples. I don't know, God be switching up like that. I'm pretty sure they were the same disciples. So why are these same disciples who face this same occurrence before surprised when the occurrence happens again? They did not learn the lesson the first time. They didn't learn to trust in you who was on the boat with them the first time. That's how we do, huh? That's how we do. Sometimes I always say, right, and this is not trying to be funny or nothing like that, but I just understand. I've came to the acceptance now that sometimes I be a hard-headed Christian. Sometimes I'm very hard-headed. Experience for me, I got to go through it myself. I know what Sally said. I know what Susie said. I know what Tom, Dick, and Harry talk about. But, for me, I got to experience it myself. And sometimes that can stunt me because because I got to touch the stove for myself. It can cause me to have to reroute. It can cause me to have to, it causes me sometimes to go in the same cycle. Flow with me. It causes me to go in the same cycle. But I correlate that to being in school, right? If you don't pass the grade, you got to repeat the grade. And with everything that you learned in the grade, my God, next time around, it should be a little bit easier, right? I mean, come on, some stuff should come back to your memory, something. You should know something. What have you learned from all that you've been through? What have you learned? What have you learned? God is going to put it to the test. That's what this teaches me. God is going to put it to the test. For everything that you endured, for everything that you suffered, for everything that you went through, for everything that you overcame, for everything, what have you learned? Are you one of the ones who say they know better but don't do better? We're going to put that to the test. Is it a lip service thing with you? We're going to put that to the test. Testing is how you move forward. It's how you elevate. It's how you get a promotion. It's how you get to the next level, next realm, whatever the case may be. God tested them again. Why did they fail? And at the end of the day, these weren't no regular people. They was his disciples. They was his disciples. So these were the people who were walking, I'm talking closer than close. I'm talking closer than close with Jesus. How y'all not know? Out of everybody not to know, I expect y'all to know something. Oh, ye of little faith. I would have been right there with Jesus. I already knew he was going to calm the storm. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I already knew it. Yeah, this going to be a part 2. I love y'all.